Welcome back. I'm Nick from A Load of Old Scrap. I make sculptures from scrap, salvage, recycled and sometimes new metal. Now today's video I'm going to be making a grandfather clock. If you've followed my work for a while you know that I've made a couple in the past. Now this one, the materials for it, the tools that are going to make up the mosaic paneling on the sides and base have actually come from a.i.p welding supplies. Now Kim, the guy who owns and runs a.i.p welding supplies, his wife, sadly her granddad passed away a couple of years ago, and these tools were left to Kim. Now he's used everything that's going to be useful for him. Everything else has just sort of sat in a box, and it was either going to go to the tip or it's going to come to me and I'd make something with it. So we figured, why not make a grandfather clock out of his wife's grandfather's tools? Perfect. I've got the framework designed up on the Extreme CNC plasma cutter. So the next step is probably going to be a 20-second time lapse of some CNC plasma cutting, and then I will show you the frame. Here I've got all the framework cut out for the grandfather clock. Was pretty much all the framework that I need to cut out. I just need to cut back pieces, but I'll do them once everything else is done because they can't go on until pretty much last. So I've got the middle section at the front, the two side sections for that, the base section with all the separate pieces there, and then the top of the clock there as well. Now all the framework's cut for the grandfather clock, I can start tacking everything together. So I've got all the pieces for the bottom section of it here. I'm going to tack these together, see what it looks like, and then I'll move on to the rest of it. Just a few tacks here and there to hold it in place, then I can sort of judge the scale of it, make sure I'm happy with everything like that. So I'm going to get the welding magnets on, get this tacked up. Base section is all tacked together now, so that's to give me a nice idea of the size that's going to end up. So that will look good. I'm going to move on to the centre section of the clock now. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but you can see the curve in that. So basically, I just had the plasma cutter on the wrong setting, so it was going too slow. So too much heat build up in the metal causes it to warp and burn and go all that horrible stuff. Give it a go, see if I can get it square. If not, I'll recut it. Kind of daft that when I use new materials I have more issues than using old stuff. Okay, here's the plan. Got a piece of solid, whatever that is, 20mm bar, I would say, something like that. It's fairly chunky, fairly heavy. I'm going to clean off the tops of these where there's a bit of dross, needs cleaning up anyway. Once that's all off, I'll be able to get the bar to sit flat on top of that. I can then pin it down with either some weights or a tack at either end to weld the bar down to the bench, and I should be able to get this side onto here, gradually tacking it along the way, and hopefully it'll hold itself square. Let's give it a go. Together as well now. Place it all together, make sure the scale and everything's right, make sure I'm happy with everything, and then we can start either filling in some of these sections or doing the welds along the full length of these. See me? Fun bit starts now. We'll start filling in with some of the mosaic scrap. I kind of planned out how I was going to do the bottom section with a few of the parts anyway, with the donated tools. So I'm going to try and get them back in a roughly the same sort of position and then start filling in some of the other gaps. Okay, that's the bottom part pretty much done. So I filled in all the pieces that you saw me fill in. I've gone in all the gaps and filled in a bit more, so there's no huge gaps anywhere there. I've gone ahead and welded all the seams around it, ground them back to get them nice and clean and tidy. On the sides of the base, I've gone with some perforated metal with sheet steel in behind. Now, the reason I've not shown that on camera is because there's something sort of hidden. There's a cutout hidden inside that I'll reveal at the end. I don't really want to show it just yet, so it wouldn't have made much sense to film that because it would have just given it all away. Next stage is I'm going to fill in the middle section and get that all welded up and ground down. So we can mount it on here, see how that looks, and crack on, go from there. Moving on to the centre section now. I'm thinking about this massive homemade looking spanner. I'm going to put right in the centre of it to make it a real feature piece of it. It'll look really good, I think. Looking good. What do you think then? I moved you back a bit so you can see the whole thing. I'm going to put the top on now so you can get an idea of what it's going to really look like. I think I say that too much. Do I say that too much? Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it's pretty big. The next stage is going to be filling in these side panels now. That's with the front and the side filled in on the middle section. I've got the other side to do, and rather than filming that again because it's exactly the same as the other side, I will, with the magic of editing, make that one be done now. Magic of editing, when it was as easy as that in real life. That is that whole section filled in. So next step, I'm going to do something on the back here which I don't want to show until the end, so you're not going to see that part. I can't actually remember if I've explained this bit, but if you're watching it then I can't have explained it because I wouldn't have put this in the video at the end. That makes sense? So each one of these little square holes that follows the entire frame all the way around is going to have carriage bolt in it. Carriage bolt, coach bolt, one of those two, can't remember what it's called. So it's going to be in like that. The idea is it's going to look like sort of industrial rivets. Now, how well this is going to show up, I'm not 100% sure, but that, I tap that, come on, focus. That is too shiny for this, it's just going to look wrong. So this is what they're going to end up looking like. You see the difference between the two. So I'm going to age each of the bolts, and they're going to be in every single one of these holes. So that is going to be it for this part of the video. So come back in the second part and I'll show how I'm going to age those carriage bolts, get them all mounted into the frame, finish off everything on the clock, and show you some of the little secret details that have gone into this one. Remember to like the video if you've liked it, leave a comment, share it, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next one.